All right, Richard, welcome back to another Fantasy Goodfellas where we talk about the top 24 quarterbacks for Week 9. But like always, we want to just kind of review how we did for Week 8.
Well, Week 8, as is usual for us, we got 22 of 24 correct and 8 of the top 12, meaning 8 of the guys that we had in our top 12 made the real top 12. So boom, another good week.
All right, well, let's get right to it. For the top 24 quarterbacks for Week 9. The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom.
Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
And number 1, Patrick Mahomes will be home at Carolina. He is consistently good, just the best quarterback in the NFL. Number 2, Russell Wilson at Buffalo. This is one that we think is going to be a shootout.
This week's shootout.
Russell Wilson, MVP candidate, has been playing great ball regardless of opponent, and that Buffalo secondary has been beat up this year. And number 3, Deshaun Watson, who has a great matchup at Jacksonville. Ryan, what do you think of this matchup?
Yeah, well, if Deshaun Watson can't do good against the Jacksonville 28th ranked defense, then it's going to be tough for the remainder of the season. So this looks good for fantasy owners that have Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I like Watson. Obviously, have him at number 3. And number 4, Justin Herbert, home against Las Vegas. This could be a shootout.
This week's shootout.
What can you say about Justin Herbert? He keeps producing no matter what. He's a rookie, looking great. I'm falling in love with this guy. And number 5, Aaron Rodgers at San Francisco. Rodgers is another guy that's been consistent pretty much all season. I think minus 1 game maybe. He just loves to throw it, loves to sling it. That's an offense that relies on him, and I love it. At number 6, Josh Allen, home against Seattle. Josh Allen has been trending down, but he's playing Russell Wilson, and he's going to have to keep up, and he has those dynamite legs. At number 7, Tom Brady, home against New Orleans. This could also be a high-scoring game with Tom Brady and Drew Brees. Hence, we have Tom Brady at 7. And number 8, Kyler Murray, home against Miami. You're saying Kyler Murray at 8? He's been great all season. He's playing a Miami defense that just destroyed Jared Goff. Not that Goff is in the same category as Murray, but it is a very good, underrated Miami Dolphins defense. And number 9, we have Lamar Jackson at Indianapolis. Lamar Jackson hasn't lived up to expectations, but he still has that ability to run. Ryan, what do you have to say about Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, well, for being last year's MVP, and currently he's just outside the top 10 for quarterbacks. That's not good for being the first or second quarterback taken in a draft this year. Although he's on pace for 3,000 yards and 27 TDs with 940 rushing yards. It's not horrible, but we think he needs to pick it up and play to that MVP caliber.
I completely agree. I think it's a simple solution. Run more. If Lamar Jackson isn't rushing for 80 to 100 yards a game, he's just another guy in fantasy. At number 10, Ben Roethlisberger at Dallas. Great matchup for Big Ben, but Big Ben isn't being asked to do much this season. That Pittsburgh defense is great. The running game is good. That's why he's down at number 10, and that may be too high for him. At 11, Matt Ryan, home against Denver. Matty Ice among league leaders in passing yards. At number 12, Derek Carr at the LA Chargers. Derek had a very disappointing game this week against the Browns, who he should have lit up. At number 13, Cam Newton at the New York Jets. This is a good matchup, but Cam Newton, inconsistent. At number 14, Drew Brees at Tampa Bay. Here's a guy that keeps chugging along. He's a little underrated in fantasy. Ryan, what do you have to say about Drew Brees?
Yeah, Drew Brees right now is the 11th best fantasy QB on a per-game basis. He's got 1,898 passing yards with 15 total TDs. The real question is Michael Thomas going to come back and play for him?
Yeah, I think if Michael Thomas plays this week, which many people think he's going to play this week, I mean, that'll be a big boost to that offense. At number 15, we have Ryan Tannehill, home against Chicago. Here's a guy who's been really good all season. Got a very tough matchup. Just came off a clunker and a loss to the Bengals. And now he's got another tough matchup home against Chicago. At number 16, Matt Stafford at Minnesota. Matt Stafford might lose Golladay. At number 17, Teddy Bridgewater at Kansas City. Teddy just came off a bad game, really, where he didn't really use DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. But now he plays Kansas City, and he's going to have to keep up with Patrick Mahomes. Ryan, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think it's going to get a little tough. They're playing against the Kansas City defense, ranked 4th against the pass. It's going to be another tough week for him.
Number 18, Kirk Cousins, home against Detroit. Minnesota just came off probably their best game of the season. And 19, Tua Tagovailoa, who's going to be at Arizona. We didn't see much of Tua this week. We didn't have to because that defense and the special teams for the Dolphins were fantastic. And number 20, Phillip Rivers, home against Baltimore. Tough defense, but Phillip Rivers has been doing it recently. Ryan?
A lot of people are forgetting about Phillip Rivers because of his horrible start. But in his last 2 games, he has 633 passing yards, 6 touchdowns to only 1 interception. He might have a good second half, but we'll see. He is an older quarterback, so we'll see how that second half plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it wasn't that long ago when Phillip Rivers was a fantasy stud. At number 21, Nick Mullens, home against Green Bay. Nick Mullens out of nowhere posted great numbers last week in relief of Jimmy Garoppolo. But if they just cut Nick Mullens loose, who knows? At 22, Kyle Allen, home against the Giants. Number 23, we have Daniel Jones at Washington. He's kind of the best option of the garbage that's left here. Hence, we have him at 23. Ryan, you got something to say?
Yeah, I just want to add that he's going against that Washington defense that's actually ranked 1st against the pass. It's going to look bad for him.
And number 24, Nick Foles at Tennessee. That Chicago Bears offense has been bad, but the Tennessee pass defense hasn't been great, and Nick Foles is just the best of what's remaining. So we have him at 24. That's our top 24 for the week.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on here and sharing your top 24 quarterbacks. I know it helps me prepare for my lineup, so we just want to say thanks for coming on here and sharing.
No problem. Good luck to everyone.